Hey everybody, it's Pops Reviews back again for 2024. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I know it's been, we're kind of deeper already into 2024. It's already January 25th here already when I'm making this video here. So, but I just want to, wish everyone a happy new year. Hope you had good holidays and all that when the holidays were around. And yes, I'm back. I'm making a video here for Downey Games Ultra Quick Wrestling. Before I get into that, I just want to just say, I'm sorry, guys. It's been a little while. Things, life and thing with family and everything, and it's sometimes it's just hard to make these videos. It's been a little harder recently with some going ons and that, but. In my heart of hearts, I always think about trying to make a video for you guys out there and, doing something fresh and new. And so hopefully we can get into this here and hopefully I will have other videos coming down the road. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my videos. I see I have over 310 to 315 subscribers. I just thank you guys for watching, for giving me support, even though I don't make videos regularly, but I just thank you. I appreciate that you love my content that I make and support me. So thank you so much, guys. So here we are. We're coming into the Royal Rumble weekend here. So I figure I would do a video of sorts, and I came across this game, Downey Games Ultra Quick Wrestling. So I've seen this game around a bit. I know there's guys out there like Dave Gardner who has done videos on this. So check his videos out as well if you want to see more information on this game. It's a game I personally prefer games that have the real wrestlers. Now, again, this game is not an official licensed game. So it's not like the Phil Singer games that they're trying to get the official rights to wrestlers and that kind of thing. I don't believe this game is a licensed game. So for those of you that are finicky about playing licensed games, then I guess this is not for you. I will say, and again, in turn to that, if you're someone that plays these type of games, you're mad that it's not a licensed game, but then you're playing a strat game of some sort in another sport, then I will digress from that. But yeah, so this is a game, has real wrestlers, and there are many different ebooks out there for PDF that you could purchase from Downey Games. I purchased basically the deluxe edition for this, so you get the rule book for Ultra Quick Wrestling, and then it comes with a 1991 set, and that's a mix of WWF, WCW, and then like some international wrestlers that are mixed in that. I didn't print that out, and I also did purchase the 1985 WWF edition. I do notice that I think, back when you were able to have them ship the games to you, but now it's just everything you have to print out yourself. So I did print out these sheets here. So this is, that has all the instructions to play the game. Now this game isn't, before I get into all this too, this game isn't a blow by blow wrestling match. Okay, this is more of a you book the match and you roll to see kind of what happens in the match, not blow by blow, but like what the outcomes are, and you're basically rolling on charts for this game to see like what happens in the match. So it's really a commentary on a match, not necessarily a what happened like blow by blow, move by move in the match. So that could be something that if you're not really fond of, this is what this game is about. And I'll do a playthrough. I'm gonna do a sample card here for you guys so you can see what it's about. And I'll do the There's kind of like the normal way to play, and then there's the advanced way to play. So I'll show you both ways to play the game, and then you can decide, if this game is for you. If you want to play, if you like the game one, and if you like to play just the normal way or the advanced way, I'll show you both ways here. Um, and yes, and then another thing again, yes, they have many different sets. So you'll have to print out your sheets here. So um, you're gonna get wrestlers that come like this on. I printed this on a 100-pound cardstock, so it's a nice thicker feel for the cards. So you're gonna get a sheet like this. I just went to my Staples to do it here. So I mean, you could print this off on regular paper if you want or whatever. I just, when it's a game, I like to make it a little more unique, authentic, more durable, I guess you would say. So I printed these on a 100-pound cardstock. I printed these charts, I believe, on 65-pound cardstock for the charts. And then you're going to need, like, again, so when you have the cards, I cut the cards out here. So now they're like little, for this particular set, they're like little squared um, cards with the information of the wrestlers and that, and the ratings. And then it tells you the set here. So this is 1985 Eastern Territory. And then in this particular set, there's 114 wrestlers in the set here. So I've cut out quite a bit of them so far. So there's 114 wrestlers. There's, I believe, how many managers? I think there's 16 managers, and there's 114 wrestlers made up of men and women in the set from 1985. So I purchased the 1985 set because that was kind of the start of me watching WWF. With Hulk Hogan and Mr. T and all that, Roddy Piper, and I was just kind of starting at that time period to start watching. It was starting to be broadcasted on the TV channels in my area here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which was known for a lot of AWA wrestling, and then '85 was like the breakthrough for WWF, I believe. So anyways, so yeah, I'm going to go through this match here now. So what you need to play the game here. So they have these sheets that you could print out that come in the instructions here. So this is going to be the match card that I'm going to play out here. It's best, when you're starting a league or, you want to start a campaign, a federation, whatever you want to call it. A lot of times it's good to have an idea. You could do a tournament for your champs and all that. All I'm doing for 85, I'm just taking the champs who were the champs. So I have Hulk Hogan as my champ, heavyweight champ. The tag team champs are Murdoch and Adonis. The Intercontinental champ is Greg Valentine, and then the women's champ is Wendy Richter. So I just assigned them the belts. I'm not going to do a tournament. Now what you could do is, now there's 114 wrestlers, like I said, in this game. So I don't think you're gonna play with all 114 wrestlers. There are a lot of jobber, enhancement talent guys that are like at the bottom, towards the bottom. They have lower ratings here that you could use to build up your guys. So those guys you could probably use, throw them in the odd matches. But I think for a solid roster of guys, you probably want to keep it to about maybe 40 guys. Maybe 40 if you could think you could handle 50, maybe 50. And then that gives you extra guys to bring in. Now, you obviously, 1985, you have Hogan, Andre, Roddy Piper, Tito Santana, and then you have guys like they have Bruno. He was still wrestling in that time period. You have the U.S. Express. And then you're getting deeper into the stack where you have Snowman Rocky Johnson's there, Cooper Kirshner, David Sammartino. So you get, and then they have a whole lot of guys in here. So I would try and keep it to my roster, my fed, to about 40, maybe 50 guys with the enhancement guys that you kind of just always just fit in to do matches. For 85, now this game, it kind of goes by. You have the different matches here. So I'll show you a card here first. So we'll look at Hulk Hogan's card. So when you have a card here, they have different ratings. So first off, they have their overall rating. So Hulk is the highest here at 3,000. And I'll bring out somebody else's card too, so you can see it's a little. Bring out, let's say, Andre the Giant. So you kind of compare the two. So you're gonna roll for their different. There's gonna be different modifiers, okay, and there's gonna be different modifiers that you're gonna be adding to their overall score, okay. The dice you'll need for this game are 10-sided dice. You're gonna need one that's probably single-sided, and then like single numbers, and the other one double. You could use both as long as you have two 10-sided dice, and you're able to tell which is the going by tens and which is the single numbers. So you have that. Now you have your cards again. Go back to the cards. So you're gonna be rolling on the charts here, and then whatever you roll, you're gonna add numbers to these guys' score. So if you roll dice, there's going to be match modifiers in that, and then these numbers will take into effect. So someone like Andre, like if you rolled size for a match modifier, so then it's kind of like size matters in the match. So then Andre would get a plus 500 to his score, right? So he would get a plus 500 if you rolled a match modifier of size. So then you would add 2650 to 500, and that would give you 3,150 for Andre. That would be his overall score if he rolled for size. Hogan would also get a bonus to size. So he's right now 3,000, and then you'd have 50, so he'd be 3,050. So Andre started off at 2650, but then he crossed over, got a big 500 because the size mattered in the match. And then, so then he's closer to Hogan in the score. So, and we'll get to how it plays out with all these numbers and that. But each guy, there's ratings here. So the left side numbers are going to be the match modifier numbers that you roll dice to find out what the match modifier is. And then you would add or subtract whatever number to their overall score. If you have a specialty match that you're doing, so if you do like a cage match, then you would add, 100 to Andre or 100 to Hogan. So you have the different match types. If they have an object, if they're brawling, ladder, table, they have ratings for that if you're doing that type of match type. And then you have your tag teams. If you're doing tag teams, you're gonna, you would add, if you're doing tag teams, if Hogan and Andre were a team, you would add both their scores of 3,000 and 2,655. Then you would also add a tag score to it. So Hogan would be a 0, so he's not adding anything to his tag score. But Andre's adding a plus 200, so then he would be 2,850. So then you would add the tag team totals together. So 3,000 plus 2,850, and that would bring them to a total score of 5,850. So that would be their score as a tag team, 5,850, if you were to do a tag team match where Hogan and Andre were a team. Okay, so, and then and for this game too, you have to designate who is a face and who is a heel. So that's always something you have to do in the match, whether you have two heels, whether you have two faces, you have to designate which is the face and which is the heel of the match. Okay, so you have that, and then you have also, you'll have managers. So we have Classy Freddie Blassie. So managers also, you assign who the managers are. There's a sheet that for 85 that tells you who the managers were for the different wrestlers. And then it's totally up to you if you want to have a manager. If you want Fred Blassie managing Dr. D. David Schultz, it's totally up to you. But again, I'm just kind of keeping it to what it was in 85. So the managers come into effect when you have your match modifiers. So like, again, if we went back to Hogan and we rolled dice and we see that it's a tech match. Let's just say a tech match came up. Hogan would be minus 50, but then that would activate Freddie Blassie, where you're able to have him interfere in the match because you see his the keyword tech and cheat. So tech would come up. So then that would able him to interfere in the match if you wanted him to interfere. So that's what these keywords are for. And then the managers are pretty strong in the match because they have different things that could happen where they're minusing the opponent. They're adding to their wrestler, but they also have things where, here like number 8, if you roll the number 8, distracts ref while wrestler chokes mercilessly, and then pin. So this here would end the match right away as opposed to rolling in a bunch of charts. I'll show you how I incorporate the manager into the match here, but the manager is just for, a heads up, could end your match for you like right away without having to roll on all the different charts. So I just want to keep that as a note when you're playing this game, that a manager could end your match quickly if you're wanting a longer match or a different match. But that's how the managers come into the effect, and I will show you how that plays out. So here we're going to play a card, and then I'll go through all the different things here of how everything works. So I've set up a card here. This is kind of like a basic kind of a sheet that you have with the instructions here that you could print out for yourself. You could do this on, I guess, you could set up an Excel on your computer if you want to do, something like this or whatever. So here I have written out the Fed WWF 1985, and it's January 25th, 2024. When I'm playing it, I call this WWF number 2 TV taping, and it's in the Boston Gardens. And in the attendance, it's put 14,164. You can make up whatever attendance. And I've kind of written here already the guys who I want wrestling. I've kind of pre-done everything here. It's probably best you do this, and not on the fly. So that way you're not kind of overwhelmed when you're wanting to make matches. Kind of have the matches you want in your head, maybe a bit, or kind of go through your cards and then just write it down, get everything nicely written down, and then, because we're going to have to do adjustments throughout the match here. So it's just best to just have all this information put down, and then it kind of it'll go by a little more nicer. Okay, so we're going to go through the matches here, and we're going to show you how kind of the basic play and then the advanced play goes. So we'll start off with the basic play. So they have these different charts here. So you're going to have this one chart that you print out here. This chart here, it almost kind of goes in the way that you should be doing the matches here, almost here. So you're going to have this chart here with all the match modifier, pre-match result. This will all make sense once I go over it here. You're going to have this other chart for face pre-match and heel pre-match event. And then you're going to have an unusual chart. So this chart here, these charts are what you essentially need to get started, to get playing here. So we're going to do a match here. So we're going to start off here. The first match I have is Salvatore Bellomo, and he's going to take on Mr. X. So it's kind of like, on a card they have, the enhancement talent might wrestle each other to get the card going here. So this is what we have here. So we have Salvatore Bellomo. He's at 1,000 points. So I have him written there for 1,000. We have Mr. X at 900. So we have him written here at 900. Now, there's also a heat factor, and before you start your league, you're going to want to have, like I said, probably your champion set up in that. And then you're going to take the top 10 faces in your league and the top 10 heels in your league, and then you're going to assign them heat points. So I wrote down in a book here, so I have my Ultra Quick Wrestling here, and then I took like the top 10 guys. You could kind of use the overall points if you're kind of like decided, like, I don't know who to assign points. So like, say like Hulk Hogan, he's the top face in my league. So there's face are the good guys, heel are the bad guys. So face, Hulk Hogan is a heat 10. So he's a heat 10, so he's a top baby face in my league, right? And then he's also the heavyweight champ. So it's in the rules. They'll tell you know how to add the scores to these guys. But like, so he's the heavyweight champ in my league. So because he's heavyweight champ, you saw on his card he was a 3,000, but because he's a heavyweight champ, you add 100 to his score. So now he's 3,100. So when I'm using him, I'm going to use the 3,100 because he is the heavyweight champ for having the title. Then you go to the next guy, so Andre, the Giant in the 85, he was a face. So he's the second best good guy, and his heat would be a 9. So you assign these heat values, like Valentine, he's a heel, and his heat is a 9. So I gave him, and he's the Intercontinental Champion, so his score went up by 50, because he's not the heavyweight champ, he's Intercontinental Champ. Secondary titles, you add a plus 50 to their score. And then I had Roddy Piper, he's a heel at that time, and he's a heat 10. So I had him above Valentine, even though his ranking points Valentine's are more than Piper's, but I believe Piper was more of the top heel at that in 85. So I made him heat 10, the top heel, and then Valentine's a heat 9. And then you could go through the rest of your cards, and then you could decide who are the different heat values for the guys. You rank them 10 to 1, and then after everybody else after that is just a heat 1. So for this here, so I've written down for Salvatore Bellomo and Mr. X, they're both heat 1 guys. Okay, we're going to get more into heat, not for this particular match, but like for the other matches after this particular one. One here is just going to be a basic match here. So again, so his score is 1,000, his score is 900. So now we're going to go to the match modifier. So I don't know if you can see that here. Let me just chart. So here we see the match modifier here. So now we're going to roll a single-sided die to find out what the match modifier. This is the basic way to play the game here. So we roll a die for a match modifier. We get a 1. We look at the 1 on the chart. A 1 is normal. So normal, nothing is going to be happening. There's no adjustments to this match. It's just the 1,000 score to 900 so far. So that's the match modifier. So you'd write in your score here, nothing, any adjustments. You'd write, there's no adjustments, so we're just going to write 1,000 to 900. Okay, so now we go to the pre-match. So pre-match, on this particular chart, you roll again a single 10-sided die, and we get an 8. An 8 on the pre-match is a face. So the face has the advantage here. So for the pre-match, we're going to go to the, there's the face chart for the pre-match. So we're going to roll here so you can see face pre-match chart, and there's a heel. The face got the advantage. So we're going to roll the 2 10-sided dice, because this goes from, as you can see, it goes from 0 or 1 to 00 down here, which will be 100. So if you roll on 10-sided dice, if you roll zeros, that's 100. Okay, so we're gonna roll on the face side to see what happens here. So we roll. So 14 on the chart here. So 14 on the chart. Crowd is lukewarm, plus 30 overall this match. So the crowd is, they're still arriving here at the Boston Gardens. Crowd is lukewarm, minus 30 overall this match. So Sal Bellomo is a minus 30. They're not really feeling him right now as the face in the match. So we're going to minus 30 from his score here. So 1,000. So you do 1,000 minus 30. And that gives you 970. So his score has gone down. So pre-match, he's a minus 30 now. Because the crowd is lukewarm, still arriving here at the Boston Gardens, so they're not feeling him. So again, he goes down to a 970. Sorry, 970. Forget my writing. And then Mr. X here is 900. Okay, so we have that. So now we did that. Now we go to the result chart. So we go to the result chart, and now so we look at the difference here. Sal Balomo here is a 970 to 900, so he's a 70-point difference. So we look at 70, so it's 150 or less, it's 70 points. So if we roll to two 10-sided dice on a 1 to 51, Sal is technically winning the match. On a 52 to 100, then it could be Mr. X. So we roll a dice. It's 000. That's 100. So 100. It's actually Mr. X who is looking to win the match. Now, I don't say that he's won the match because stuff could happen here still. So Mr. X is winning the match. Now we're gonna roll. This is a TV taping. So the heel right now is winning on the TV taping. So we roll this here to see what type of finish could happen here. So we roll a 63 on a TV taping for the heel. And it is a pinfall via illegal tactics. So Mr. X won via illegal tactics on Sal Balomo. So that would end the match right there. There's also this here where you could roll and it goes to unusual results. This is when something unusual could happen where, it looks like Mr. X won the match. Okay, sorry, my camera on my phone had cut out there for a sec. But yeah, so Mr. X won via pinfall via legal tactics. And then, like I said, you could have something unusual happen to change the match of some sort, but we didn't have that. So that would be the end of your match, essentially, for the beginner match or basic rules. So you'd write down, so the final score, again, so Sal had 970, Mr. X had 900, and then the difference was 70 in favor of Sal, but the winner was Mr. X, and Mr. X won on a heel TV taping. He won pinfall illegal tactics. So you'd write that, and then he won by a pinfall. So in the book it says, or in the instructions, the rules, it says if it was a clean pinfall, then they go up 20 on their overall score. So it'd be up to you if you want to decide by the wording of what's here, because it's they have clean pinfall, win via submission, pinfall via legal tactics, and go to unusual results. That's kind of the same categories for each, essentially, depending on the match. But here, the top one is a clean pinfall, and the pay-per-view is a clean pinfall from 1 to 58, 1 to 15. So I would probably use, because the wording clean pinfall, to be able to move him up. So he'd probably stay at 900 for me, unless if I'm doing that wrong or somebody's an expert player at this game, then please leave in the comments if I did that wrong. But I believe that's how it would be. Unless it's a clean pinfall, then he would move up 20, and then you would add 920 to Mr. X the next time he wrestled. So that's essentially how you do a normal beginner match. So that would be the end of that match, so we go on to the next match. So the next match I have written down here is S.T. Jones is going to take on Steve Lombardi. So we're going to do that. And now we're going to do advanced rules for the rest of these matches here. So we got S.T. Jones. And we have Steve Lombardi. So again, S.T. Jones is 1100. Steve Lombardi is 1100. So they both have the same score. There's really not much going on for anything if you roll for match modifier, because they're both zeros for everything. The only difference is Lombardi is a better tag partner for whoever he's helping out in a tag match. So he's a plus 200 to plus 200. So this is an even match here. they're both Heat 1. They're both, at the bottom here at this opening match here at the Boston Gardens. So now we go to the match modifiers. So now we're doing more of the advanced stuff here. So we're going to use this table here. Okay, so this other table is for if you're using beginners, you just want kind of a quicker way. You use these tables. You're still going to come back to this table. Actually, you're going to see in a bit here, but we're using this tables here. So this is for the advanced matches here. So the first thing you're going to do is match skill application chart. So it's similar to the other match modifier chart. This one though is more face, even, and heel, and the other one too also has a. If we look, this also has a pre-match to decide when you roll the die who gets the advantage, to face or heel. On this one, it's geared to whoever has the overall points coming in. You're going to go to their card. So for this one, it's even though, because they're both the same 1100. We're going to roll on the even in the middle here to see what the match modifier is. Now it's not going to make a difference because both these guys have nothing to gain advantage of. We're just rolling anyways. So it's an 82. So they're both even, and 82 would be a cheating match. So it'd be a cheating match. So this is when you would go to look at their cards now to see if they get any bonuses to add. He's a 0 at cheating, and ST Jones is a 0 at cheating. So there's no bonuses for the match modifier. So they're both right now at 1100 still. Okay, they're both at 1100. No advantage here so far. Now the next thing we look at is the heat. So the heat, it's a low heat. They're both like a 1, so they're low. So total combined heat numbers of 2 through 7, they're both going to add to a 2, both 1. So it's a low heat for this match. So now we go to the next chart, which is the pre-match chart. So we look here at the heat level, and it's a low. So 1 to 70, something will happen, a pre-match event. And a 71 to 90, nothing happens, okay? And then there's going to be 3 different pre-match event charts that you can look at if something happens. So let's roll the dice to see if anything happens on the pre-match chart. So 44 on a low, 44 on a low. So yeah, something will happen. So now we're going to roll the dice to see in which area, which event does it happen in. Does it happen in the interview? Does it happen during the wrestler entrance? Or does it happen in the ring before the bell sounds? So we roll the dice. We get a 86, and 86 is, so in the ring before the bell sounds, something happens. So now we go to the pre-match chart for in the ring before the bell sounds. So we find that chart. So here it is, in the ring before the bell sounds. So we have that chart. So now we roll the dice here. And we get a 22. 22. So we look at for 22. If heels cheating rating is 75 or higher, they palm a roll of quarters for using during the match, plus 75 for the heel this match. So if the heel's rating is plus 75, if the heel's cheat rating is 75 or higher, well, Lombardi is the heel in this match. His cheat rating is a 0. It is a 0. So if heel's cheating rating is a 75 or higher, it is not. They palm roll quarters. So he's not getting this advantage here because he's not a 75 or higher. So that ends that chart there. So that ends the pre-match. So they're still the same now. After the pre-match, they're still the same at 1100 apiece. So now we're going to go to the next in line here, which is, so we had the pre-match. Now we have the in-match event possibility. So we roll on the low heat and find out what happens there. So we roll a 70. So 70 for in-match event on a low is no event because it's a 16 to 0, 0. So no event happened, so we don't roll on any of these here for the in-match event. So that gets skipped. So now we get to the outcome of the match here. So the outcome, you're gonna roll now. So now we have to go back to this chart here. So you have to go back to this chart. You're gonna roll the result, and this is a 0 outcome, right? This is a 0 outcome. There's no advantage here for either guy. So the final overall score is 1100. There's no difference, which is weird. I've never had this before where it's like no difference here. So 0 difference. So we're gonna have to pick maybe like who's the higher rated here by maybe results here, or we just go by the face is the higher rated. We'll just say ST Jones is the higher rated in the match. So we're picking one here. So we're gonna pick ST Jones as the higher rated. Maybe we could say Lombardi because his tag is a 300. So maybe we'll say Lombardi just because he has the advantage of the 300 to the 200, that he is a slight better wrestler than ST Jones, even though. So Lombardi will say is the higher rated. So we look. The difference in points, there's a 0, so it's a 150 or less. It's less because there's 0, right? So, and the higher rated is Lombardi. Okay, so we roll the dice, 41. 41, so Lombardi right now is the higher rated, so he is technically winning the match here. So, now we're going to go to, and we also roll, it was a 41. So we also look at this here. So we look at this here, this chart, supplemental match result. We use second die of the original dice result, which was a 1 because it was a 41. So we look at, it's a TV. So 0 to 3, it was a 1. So Lombardi won by disqualification. So he wins by disqualification. So that ends that, I guess. So Steve Lombardi won by disqualification. ST Jones got hot during the match. Maybe Lombardi was cheating during the match, and then SD started to come on, and then it was coming on too strong. The referee was trying to get in between. SD maybe hit the referee by accident, and then he got disqualified. So that ends the match. So Steve Lombardi won by disqualification. So we'll just write it here. Lombardi wins. Sorry for my writing, guys. I'm a poor writer. Lombardi wins by DQ. Okay, so Steve Lombardi wins by a DQ. Now, if on this chart of the detail of the outcome, like there's also blowout win, not even close, opponent submits, questionable finish the match, only dirty tactics used for the win, sudden comeback from the brink of defeat. Sometimes there isn't a brilliant finish to the match, excellent match with lots of kickouts and near falls. So sometimes if you don't like or it's not explained well enough what the result was for the winner, you could go back to this chart here, and then you could roll, heel TV tape winning, and then roll to see, like, again, if you want more of a cleaner win. I guess, by disqualification is pretty much a decent result. So I could keep that. And then you could roll for, at the end, you could roll for the post-match event possibility. So I could end it with a DQ, but if I want to add more to like this match to see like if there's anything else that happens, I roll for the post-match. So I roll to see again on the low because of the heat chart, and then it's an 84. So 84 on low is there's no event, so nothing happens, and this would have been the options here: celebration during post-match, celebration by winner, intervention by the commissioner, or unfinished business and or grudge matches. So those are 3 different charts you could look at, but I say nothing happened during the post-match, so just the end. Lombardi won by disqualification. He headed to the back. He took off. He didn't want any more part of ST Jones. So that ends that match. So then that would be the conclusion of the ST Jones Steve Lombardi match. All right. So now we go to the next match on the card. I guess we have Lombardi. So you just marked on the sheet Lombardi as the winner. And then you have the description of what happened for the match. Okay, so now the next match, we have a tag team match. So we have the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, and this is kind of like their beginnings here in the WWF, and they're going to be taking on Rene Goulet and Ron Shaw. Okay, so you have their cards here, and then I wrote down the ratings here on the sheet. So I have here Davey Boy Dynamite, Rene Goulet, Ron Shaw. You have to remember again, the Bulldogs were just kind of coming in at 85. So they're at a heat 1, right? They're just beginning. They're going to have to work them up the ladder here. Rene Goulet, Ron Shaw are at a heat 1 because they're enhancement talent. And then again, you're going to see Davey Boy Smith here is a 1225, and then because it's a tag team match, I'm going to add 500 to his score. So then he's going to be 1,725, right? And then you're going to add that to Dynamite Kid, who was 1,210, add that plus 400. So now he's 1,610, sorry. So now and then you add both their scores together, and that's how I come up with 3,335. You do the same for Rene Goulet and Ron Shaw. They came out to 2,350. So that's how you get the scores for a tag team match when you're doing a tag team match. Okay, so now we have to roll to see what kind of match it is. So we, again, because we're using advanced rules, the Bulldogs are the higher ranked team overall because they have a 3,335 versus 2,250. So we roll here and we see that the Bulldogs are the face. They are the higher ranked. They're in control. They have the pace of the match. That's what it's kind of simulating, that they're the better team, so they're keeping the pace of the match essentially. So we roll the dice here. We get a 33. 33 for a face is speed. So this is going to be a speed match. Sounds kind of like the Bulldogs, that speed is a factor in the match. So now we look at the speed ratings. So speed ratings, so first off, Davey Boy. Davey Boy adds a plus 15, so they're going to get a plus 15. Dynamite is adding a plus 15. So now their score goes up by 30, right? So their score was 3,335 plus 30. So now they're 3,365, right? 3,365 for the Bulldogs because they got a plus 30 from the match modifier because it's a speed, So you can write down speed just so you know. So plus 30. Now we go to Rene Goulet. Does he have speed? No. So nothing gets added from Rene Goulet. Ron Shaw, does he have speed? No. So nothing is added to Rene Goulet and Ron Shaw. So that's their score. Their score still stays the same, 2,350. All right, so now we go to the pre-match. So now we roll for the pre-match. This is again a low heat level match because the Bulldogs are just coming in. Rene Goulet and Ron Shaw are just the enhancement talent. So 68 for the pre-match on low. 68. Yeah, something does happen. So we go to the pre-match event chart to see what happens here. So we roll the dice, pre-match event, 92. 92. Sorry, yeah. 92, sorry, we go back to this here. So we look to see what type of pre-match event. 92, in the ring before the bell sounds. So we go to in the ring before the bell sounds. Go to that chart. So in the ring before the bell sounds. All right, so there we go. In the ring before the bell sounds, we roll the dice to see what happens here. So it is a 40. 40. Although the two wrestlers circle the ring, staring each other down, nothing happens to change the match conditions. So matches, a regular match here going on. So Davey Boy probably starting off with Rene Goulet. Bell rings. Nothing is happening during the pre-match. So now we do the in match. Do the in match to see what happens if anything during the in match. So we roll on the low for in match. And it's a 68 that I rolled. So again, it's a low 68. And no event in the in-match event possibility chart. So nothing funny going on in this match. This is a normal straight Bulldogs versus Rene Goulet Ron Shaw match. So you could write in the description it's normal. There was no added things going on here. No adjustments here. So then we write down the final score. Bulldogs again are at 3,365 versus 2,350. We go to the difference. So we do the difference. We do a subtraction here. 3,365 minus 2,350. We're getting a difference of 1,015. So that's in favor of the Bulldogs. So you write 1,015 in favor of the Bulldogs. So now we go to the results chart. 1,015. So we're looking at between here. So 1 to 80, the higher rated wins, which would be the Bulldogs. 26. So that means the Bulldogs are the higher rated. So they're winning the match here. So now we go to the finish. So we go to the finish. I forgot what I rolled there. What did I roll? It was a 1 to 80. I can't remember what I rolled for that because you have to you check the last number there. Okay, so we'll just say 42. They still win. The 2 though, we go to the TV taping here, and it's a 2. So the Bulldogs won by disqualification in this match here for the TV taping because we rolled a 2. So Ron Shaw, Rene Goulet, they cheated. So the Bulldogs win by disqualification. Again, if you're not happy with that outcome too, I mean, you could try and roll for the TV taping for the faces to win. So 42 on the TV taping. Opponent DQ'd for illegal tactics. So either way, it looks like Rene Goulet and Ron Shaw were not making it comfortable for the Bulldogs there, and they got disqualified. So the British Bulldogs win via disqualification. So then you'd write that down. The Bulldogs win. You can write whatever, Rene Goulet, Ron Shaw, or used a chair or whatever. So we could say Goulet used a chair on Davy Boy. Uses chair on Davy Boy, and he gets disqualified, DQ'd. Okay, so that would end that. And you could roll for a post-match event as well. So we could see what happens if something happens in the post-match. So it's a low adjustment here, 88, 88, nothing happens. So they got DQ'd. Ron Shaw, Goulet heading back to the dressing room. The Bulldogs win via disqualification. And as a booker, you can decide if you want to have those two teams go back at it again if you want. So that ends that match. So we go to the next match. It's going to be Jimmy Superfly Snuka versus Dr. D. David Schultz. So, Jimmy Snuka, Dr. D. So we have Snuka, he's a 1710. Dr. D is a 1295. So we have those listed down. Jimmy Snuka, his heat though is a 6, and Dr. D is a 1. So together added there are a 7. So a 7 is still a low heat level match. So this is a 7, and we're going to roll to see what kind of match skill it is here. So we look, Jimmy Snuka is ahead on the points, 1710 to 1295. So we roll on the face, because he's the face of the match at that time, even though things have changed in life here for what happened with him. But at this time, he was a face. So we look at 67, and 67 is Savvy. So this is a Savvy match between these two guys. So Savvy, and now we're going to look to see who has the ratings on the Savvy. So just going to match modifier for Savvy. And we're going to see. So Savvy, Snuka is a -10. So he's going to get a -10 to his score. Dr. D, his Savvy is a +15. So Dr. 15 to his score. Okay, so that's going to be a 1,700 because Snuka's -10. Dr. D, 1295 +15. He's going to be 1310. So Dr. D closing the gap a little bit. 1310. All right. And you also see too, like on their card, they have like their finishers and stuff like that. If you didn't know what the guy's finisher is, it's written on their card. Okay, so we have that. So now we're going to go to the pre-match. The pre-match here. So again, this is a low heat level match here. We roll the dice. We got a 90. 90 is no event. So no event happens during the pre-match. So now we go to the in-match. We roll for the in-match at low, 73. 73 for the in-match. Nothing happens. So this is a normal match for both these guys. Snuka and Dr. D are going to go at it. So, sorry, writing this down wrong. So this is a Savvy match here. Dr. D trying to use his wits here to take on the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And so now we go to their score and add it up, or just the final overall. So it's a 1,700. The Snuka was -10. He was a 1,710. Dr. D went up 15. So he's a 1,310. So now we do the math here. You take 1,700 minus 1,310, and that equals 390. So Snuka is still favored by 390 points. That's the difference. So now we go to the result chart. There's a 390 difference. So that's this score here. 390 fits in between 151 to 450. So a 1 to 59 is for Snuka, a 97. So Dr. D now is the one who's in control here. It's looking in Dr. D's favor. So now we go to the, there was a 97, sorry. So we go to 97, we go to the results match, 90 and a 7, a questionable finish to the match. So a questionable finish, the Dr. D is he using some brass knucks here? So now if you don't like the questionable finish, now we go to the heel TV taping to find out like how did he win the match here for a questionable finish, for a more definitive answer. So 97, the heel TV taping, and a 97, you go to the unusual results. So we go to the unusual results chart. So now we go to the unusual results. We're going to roll to see if we like what we see here. A 57 on unusual results. 57. New heel enters ring and uses finisher on face DQ. Okay, sorry guys. I was just, the camera keeps cutting out on me here. But, yeah, so anyways. So we did roll, and we got a 57 on the unusual chart. And again, it was new heel enters ring and uses finisher on face DQ. So Dr. D, originally, remember, he had, from the other chart, he had questionable finish to the match. So questionable finish to the match, and then on this other chart for the unusual result, because of rolling for the heel TV taping, that's what we got, unusual result, and then it came up that it was new heel enters ring and uses finisher on face DQ. So Dr. D gets DQ'd in the match, and then a new heel comes in and starts beating on Jimmy Superfly Snuka. So this would be your opportunity if you wanted to introduce someone new into the your Fed or whatever league you're calling it. You could have someone new come in and start beating up on Jimmy Snuka. So this is a time if you want to have I don't know in this particular set, Bravo, he was a good guy, or George the Animal, whoever you want to come in to beat on the Superfly to help Dr. D. So this would be it here. So I could say that maybe it was maybe I had who came in to interfere here. There's so many options here, guys, with this game. It's crazy. Lots of stuff here. Maybe the missing link came down to the ring. So maybe the missing link, crazy as he is, comes down and he's not. We don't have a missing link on my main roster. So maybe this is the way to introduce the missing link. He comes in and starts beating on Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and the missing link. What does he have for his? He has that flying headbutt. So the missing link hit the flying headbutt on Snuka into the rib cage and abdomen of the Snuka, and with Dr. D also beating on him. So the missing link. So here his card, using his flying headbutt, 1420. So that we could say the missing link came down in the ring and started beating on Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and maybe was confused, but wanted to take something on Snuka. So Snuka wins the match. So it looked like Dr. D was going to win, right? Initially with the dice results, so we go to the charts. But then now we see that Jimmy Snuka ends up winning by disqualification because of the unusual match happening. So Snuka wins by DQ. Missing link interferes. And then you could, missing link interferes, and Dr. D and missing link were beating on Snuka. Missing link interferes and is part of WWF. So then you could go on, and now you can make a feud from that. Snuka and the missing link are now feuding from that interference by the missing link. So you can see how something like that would work. And so a good thing, I wanted to leave my thoughts at the end about this game because I wanted to give a little review on that. This game, I think it's kind of compared to Face of the Mat. And anyways, I'm going to get more. I'll get more into that at the end of my matches here. So let's go on to the next match here. So we got Wendy Richter taking on Fabulous Moolah. Wendy Richter. So Wendy Richter is the champ. So she's 2,200. And then because she's the women's champ, I gave her a plus 100. So she's 2,300 for the match. Moolah is a 2,000 for the match. They're both Heat 10 for top women. She's a Heat 10 face for the Moolah's a Heat 10 for the women heel. So they're both Heat 10. So this is a Heat 20 match for both of these women here. So Heat 20 match. So this is a high heat match between these two. They don't like each other. And so this is a high heat match. So we're going to roll for match modifier. And this is going towards the face. Again, this is high heat because of the 20. Both of them don't like each other. So the fans are excited for this. They got heat. And now Wendy Richter is the overall, has the overall points in the match. So we're going to roll for the face to see what that does. So a 69 for a face is, it's a savvy match between these two. Savvy match. So we're going to write savvy. All right, savvy. And now we check to see how does that benefit. So for Wendy Richter, she's going to get a plus 50. So she's going to get a plus 50. And Moolah is also going to get a plus 50. So both these women, very savvy veterans, and both are very smart individuals here, and they are trying to get one up on each other here. So that they're both going to get a 50. So now Wendy Richter is at 2,350, and Moolah is at 2,050. Okay, so now we go to the next, which is the pre-match. Again, this is a high heat match here. So we look at high, we roll the dice. We see a 25 for high, so something is happening in the pre-match. Now we roll to see which type of pre-match is happening here. Events, so we rolled a 15. It's during the interview. So we go to the interview. We roll the dice for the interview. And we get an 84. So 84 on the interview chart here. 84. Face heat intervenes to stop attack by heel, then smacks heel around on live TV. Minus 200 to heel this match only. So face heat intervenes to stop attack by heel in the pre-match interview. Then smacks heel around live TV. Minus 200 to heel this match. So I guess Moolah was in her interview, and Wendy Richter could not take it anymore. She goes and she started fighting with Moolah while Mean Gene was interviewing her. She smacked her around, and they had to be separated, but Moolah is a minus 200 this match. So now she is, so we have to subtract that from Moolah's score. So Moolah now was a 2,050 minus 200, and that gives you 1,850. So now she is at 1,850. So we're going to write that 1,850 now. Wendy Richter's a 2,350 after intervening there. So now we go to the in-match possibility chart. So we go to the in-match, see what happens. We roll for that. It's high heat, so 44 in-match. 44, so nothing happens. Nothing happens, high heat, so it's a normal match. So normal, we'll write that down. They both got to the ring. They're both wanting to settle some scores here. And now we go to, we're going to write down their final scores here. So overall, 2,350, 1,850. So now we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract 2,350 minus 1,850. And you get a score of 500. So Wendy Richter is in the plus 500. So now, so you can see now when you roll for these now, you're seeing like, because the difference now is favoring Wendy Richter by 500. So technically on these charts here, because it's a 500, right? It's a 500, 451 to 650. It's starting to go up, right? Their odds of winning the match is going up, right? So it's projected for Wendy Richter to win at a roll of 1 to 65. We roll a 35. So she is in control. She is looking to win this match here. So we rolled that a 5. We rolled a 35. So then the 35, because it's a TV, opponent submits. So she got Fabulous Moolah to submit. So we could end it there, that Wendy Richter has made the Fabulous Moolah submit. And if you want, again, if you want to roll, if you don't like that, you go to face TV taping, roll over here, see what happens over here just in case. The 27. 27 is opponent DQ'd for illegal tactics. So you could say it one way or the other. You could, if you want, if that makes sense, that Moolah was DQ'd for illegal tactics, you could write it like that if you want to keep it, or if you want to just keep the outcome of this here, that Wendy Richter was able to submit Moolah, then you could keep that, right? So opponent submits. So Wendy Richter was able to get the victory via submission, and then you can go to the post-match. So you go to the post-match roll, and we see again. We have to see if does anything happen on a high. 88 was the roll, and 81 nothing because of the 88. So nothing happens for the post-match. So the winner of the match, Wendy Richter. Now, if you don't want to use that submission, you could say too that she won with her face buster. That would make more sense than like Moolah tapping probably, right? So we could say, and the good thing is anything you could change the wording around, right? It doesn't have to be the exact like submission, like Wendy Richter is a submission artist or anything like that. You could say that that she won by her face buster, and that would probably make more sense, right? At least it was like a positive in the win, right? So that's the important thing. And on the supplemental results chart, there isn't a clean pinfall. Or is there a clean pinfall? Questionable finish, brilliant finish, exciting match, lots of kill in their falls, stunning comeback from ring defeat. So opponent submits. It's not the clean pinfall via finish like on the chart that you have, but an opponent submits is pretty good, or a blowout win, not even close. Win by disqualification, match. So I don't know. Opponent submits is pretty clean, I think, for this chart. So I'd probably brilliant finish to the match, questionable opponent submits, and brilliant finish to the match are probably pretty final kind of thing. Exciting match with lots of kickouts and their falls. That's not even on the TV. But for the TV, opponent submits is a pretty final thing there, as just like getting pinned, right? So as you go to the face TV taping here again, if it didn't make sense here, you could use the opponent DQ'd for illegal tactics if you wanted the more of the definitive way for the match to end. But I think the submission there is pretty much like a pinfall. So I would say for that Wendy Richter used her face buster. So Wendy Richter, and she would go up probably in the rankings for having a clean victory over Fabulous Moolah, if you were keeping tabs here. So Wendy Richter, winner, you gotta write the W, winner, using her face buster. And Moolah is dejected, leaves the ring. Wendy Richter still the champ here. And you could, if you want, they have managers, like you could have Cyndi Lauper as Wendy Richter's manager, as they have the manager cards for David Wolf, which was Cyndi Lauper's manager. So if you want him as Wendy Richter's manager, you could have him there, Cyndi Lauper. So, or even if you wanted Mr. T by Wendy Richter, that's up to you. So you could have whatever manager. The option is there for David Wolf, for Cyndi Lauper to be managing Wendy Richter. So that ends that match there. So we're down to the last two matches now. So now we have Ivan Putski is going to take on strongman Ken Patera. Both these men, strong guys. The Polish Hammer and Ken Patera, the Olympian. So there you see, here's their cards. So Putski is rated just slightly lower at 1360 to 1395. So pretty even. And then they both have a heat 1. They're both low heat. So low heat. We go to the charts now again. So again, so for this match, Patera is actually Patera is actually he's the overall, so he's the heel leading the match here. And again, it's a low heat. They both have 2 heat. So we're going to look and roll on the heel side. Patera rolls a 60. A 60 for the heel is strength. So of course, they're both got the strength. They're using their strength there. So Putski for strength, he's going to be a plus 25. So you write a plus 25 for Putski. You write strength. It's a strength match. Putski gets a plus 25. And Patera, of course, he should be a strength guy. And of course, he's a plus 50. So you write a plus 50 for Patera. All right. So now you add that up. So Putski now at 1360 plus 25 equals 1385. So Putski's at a 1385. Patera is 1395 plus 50, and that gives you 1445. So Patera is at 1445, Putski at 1385. So now we go to the pre-match event possibilities. So pre-match, again, we roll, see if anything happens on a low heat match. 19, and well, it looks like something's going to happen. So low 19. So pre-match, we roll 60. A 60 for the pre-match. So 60 is during the wrestler entrance. So we go to the during the wrestler entrance chart. What's going to happen for a pre-match? So during the wrestler entrance, 72. 72 is, although there is a great anticipation of a heated match, nothing happens during the entrance to change the match conditions. So we have a normal match here. Now, the other thing is actually Bobby the Brain Heenan is Ken Patera's manager. So we do have Bobby Heenan. So so we're going to roll for Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan could almost end this match here depending on what he rolls. And also depending on what he rolls, we'll see if we have to go to an in-match event. So we just rolled a pre-match. Now we're going to roll on Bobby Heenan's card. Bobby Heenan, actually, sorry, this is a strength match. This is actually a strength match. So actually, Bobby Heenan does not interfere in this match. Because for Bobby Heenan to interfere, it's a normal, tech, and speed. So Bobby Heenan, even though he's Ken Patera's manager, does not interfere because the keyword was not triggered with any of these words here. It's a strength match. So Bobby Heenan's card is a non-factor. He's just watching the match. He is not interfering off his card because his keyword was not triggered. If his keyword is triggered, you are allowed to either, you can roll on his card, but it's totally up to you if you want to do that or not, because there is chances where his card could end the match off his card. So we did Bobby Heenan's card. He has nothing for this match. He's just watching these two strong guys go at it. Ken Patera told him to not interfere in this match. I want to take out Putski. So now we go into the in-match event to see what happens. So we roll a 62. There's a low for in-match, and 16-0, nothing happens. So this is a normal match. So now we go to tally up the finals here. Scores with these guys. Nothing. So this is a normal match. And 1385 for Putski. 1445 for Patera. So Patera has the advantage. 1445 minus 1385, and you get 60-point difference. So that is for Patera. Patera has a 60-point difference. So now we go to the result chart. Result chart. 60-point difference is pretty low, pretty even. So Patera is going to need a 1-51 to win. A 66. So Putski is going to get it because 52 to 100. So Putski was a lower rated, so he we rolled a 66. So the 6 we go to the special match result, a 4-6. Putski got Patera to submit. So Putski, for submissions, we're going to use their finisher. So Putski was able to use the Polish hammer on Ken Patera. And Patera felt that Polish hammer. And Putski goes to the pin, and Heenan cannot believe as he sees Patera get knocked out. 1, 2, 3. Ivan Putski with the Polish hammer beating Ken Patera. Now, sorry, I'm kind of writing this early here. So Putski won. Again, you could roll on the TV taping to see if he won clean or not. But again, that on this chart for me, opponent submits is pretty clean, right? So he uses finisher. Now we could do the post-match celebration, see if anything happens. So again, they're low heat. Low heat. We rolled a 10. So something is happening. After we could check. So we roll again. It is a 5. A 5. We would check during the post-match celebration by winner. So we check that chart. Post-match celebration by winner. Just give me a sec, guys. Okay, winner celebration. Okay, so we roll a dice, see if there's anything that happens here. 44, post-match celebration by winner. Heel/face heat, as appropriate, is very angry at the outcome of the match and enters the ring looking for revenge. Start new match versus winner immediately, -200 to winner. So, again, it was a 44. Heel/face heat, as appropriate, is very angry at the outcome. So Patera is very angry that he got hit by that Polish hammer. Heel/face heat, as appropriate, is very angry at the outcome of the match and enters the ring looking for revenge. Start new match versus winner immediately. -200 to the winner. So you can almost have, so this is saying, I'm sorry, I kind of read it wrong, but this is kind of saying like someone else came out here. So someone else in the Heenan family, you could say like Big John Studd comes out and is protesting the match, looking for revenge. Start a new match versus winner immediately, -200 to the winner. So if you want to do that, do we want to bring out Big John Studd to take on Ivan Putski after he just beat Ken Patera? Bobby Heenan, is looking for revenge on Studd. Now you could play that out already and just have Putski at his score of 1385, and then I -200 off him, so then he's going to be a 185 versus Big John Studd. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that out. If you want to, but if you want to do something like that, that kind of gives you, the option to keep your story going and to, add to your story. So we're just going to have Ivan Putski wins. He wins via Polish hammer. And Big John Studd challenges him to a match. Big John Studd challenges Putski. And Putski's at 1385 -200. If you want to do that, or if you want to have his score and just minus him 200 points or whatever, that'd be totally up to you. He would go up, and he would go up 20 for winning the match with his Polish hammer. So that would be totally up to you how you'd want to do that, or you have it on the next card. Or if you want a big John Studd, Russell Putski right there and now, that'd be up to you. I'm not going to do that here though tonight here, or during this playthrough. So that's that match up there. That was a pretty good match, and that's a nice way to see how you could add how the matches tell a story, and you could, lead to your next card. Okay, so the final match of the night here. So we got the Junkyard Dog taking on Greg the Hammer Valentine with Jimmy Hart. Greg Valentine putting on the Intercontinental title on the line here versus Junkyard Dog. So we have him as the IC champ. And Junkyard Dog has a heat of 7. Greg Valentine has a heat of 9. And then Junkyard Dog is 1800. And Greg Valentine is 2650 for their rating here. So let me just get their cards here. So yeah, we got Junkyard Dog versus Greg Valentine. So this is the main event here. Valentine, the champ, and he has his manager, Jimmy Hart, here at ringside. So we roll here. So first off, again, the Hammer has the advantage. He's the champion, and he's at 2650. So we're going to roll on his chart here, and there's a heat of 9 to 7. That's 16. So they have a high heat coming into this. The fans are going nuts here at the Boston Garden. They want to see the Junkyard Dog and Valentine go at it for the Intercontinental Championship. So we roll now on the heel side because Valentine has the advantage of the heel side. So we roll at 81. 81 heel is cheating. So cheating is going on. This no good cheating is going on here for the advantage. Of course, he's got the Mouth of the South in his corner. So you already know Junkyard Dog. Oh, Junkyard Dog, he's a plus 10 for cheating. So you're going to write plus 10 for the dog. JYD, he knows a small bit about cheating, I guess. And Greg Valentine cheating is a plus 50. So the Hammer adding to his score plus 50 for cheating. And Jimmy Hart, if we look at his card, there's no keyword for cheating, which is actually it's pretty interesting. So Jimmy Hart not interfering in this match. So he's just gonna watch these two go at it. So, and this is show you too, like for these managers, like Fred Blassie has cheat. So if the keyword triggers it, right? So Jimmy Hart, speed, tech, and size, but no cheating. So that's kind of funny. So yeah, Jimmy Hart, not a factor in the match here. So now we go to the pre-match event chart, and these guys are high. So it's 66 high on the pre-match high. So yeah, something is going on in the pre-match, and then we roll again at 80. We roll at 80, so 80 high is no event. So nothing happens. They're going to have a normal, nothing happens during the interview entrance or when the bell sounds. So they get to the ring. Now the in-match possibility high. In-match possibility high. So 80 was rolled and no event. So this is a normal match. There's no interruption or interference. No brawling, unusual occurrences. So now we go to the result chart. There is no real factors. So this is a normal match for the Intercontinental title. There is cheating in the beginning, a lot of jawing, cheating, raking eyes and stuff like that happening in this match. They're scratching in the back, these two going at it. And the final scores here, so Junkyard Dog gets a 1,810. And Valentine gets plus 50 for the cheating, so 2,700 that he's at, 2,700. So we go 2,700 minus 1,810, and that gives us a difference of 890. So 890, it's never going to roll. Valentine has the advantage, and so we go to the result charts, and remember we use the second single die for the result. So he has a difference of 890, so that falls into there. So 1 to 75 for Valentine, 76, 890. So the Junkyard Dog is coming out in front here with the 76. So now, and the 6 now, we look at the result chart on the 6. On the TV 6, Oh, he gets Valentine to submit, so he uses the thump power slam, and he gets him. The JYD gets him, and he is the new Intercontinental Champion. And the Garden is going nuts here. The Boston Garden and Jimmy Hart is jumping up and down here as a JYD able to hit him with that power slam, and Valentine was not able to kick out. So now we go to the post-match event possibility chart here, and we go to a 16. And remember, it's high. So in-match, post-match event possibility. And we go to a 56. 56 is a during post-match celebration by winner. So what happens here? Does anything happen? Post-match celebration by winner. Okay, so we go to the post-match celebration. We roll the dice. We get a 78. 78 on the post-match celebration. And the result... If the result of the match was disqualification, the loser fires their manager, tag team partner, or leaves heel gang as appropriate. So, no, there was nothing like that. And the Junkyard Dog is the new Intercontinental Champion, as he has taken out Greg the Hammer Valentine. Here, so, there you have it. So you'd write down winner Junkyard Dog wins with the thump power slam and is the new Intercontinental Champion, new IC champ. All right, so because he won the belt, then you would give him a plus 100, so he would be a 1900. Valentine would be negative 100 the next time he would wrestle or whatever, because he wouldn't have that championship edge kind of thing. And yes, and then so that's how that would be handled. And you'd be able to set up a rematch if you want, because obviously Valentine was a champ. So that's it there. That is the Downey Games Ultra Quick Wrestling. Now, of course, it's taken me a little while to do the matches and to show you how it plays out and to explain everything. So I hope you got the gist of it after me playing 7 matches here and a full card. I used up, if I'm using this paper and they have 7 slots, then I want to use up 7 slots here to get the matches going here. That's a full card. And for me, this is a great game. It's a nice, quick game. As much as this video is long, it's a nice, quick game. A nice way to get quick results and then have your little matches going, and not if you don't want to get too detailed, you kind of just roll. Check out the charts, and and then you just see results, and then you kind of make your little fed or league off your results. The good thing is that if you don't like a result, you could always re-roll, or you could kind of change the wording if the wording doesn't fit what's going on in your fed, in your league, like how it did there with like the submits, or like a gang of people come in, but meanwhile, back in '85, there's only like maybe the Heenan family. There wasn't stables of guys like they have now with the different factions and stuff like that. So you could change the wording to suit your league, to suit your federation or whatever, And this is more of a storytelling game. Like I said, it's not the blow-by-blow match. It's not the blow-by-blow for the different holds and stuff like that. This is more, more of a Booker type, watch what happens in essentially like an update kind of deal, like how I used to have the updates when they'd show you, pieces of the match kind of thing, and then you kind of like put it together. And once you have the flow of rolling for the match modifier, the pre-match, the in-match, the after the match, then it moves along pretty good. And that again, another thing with this game, it's a dice rolling game. You're using your D10s. It's dice rolling, so anything could happen during a dice rolling game. So, you got JYD beating Greg Valentine for the Intercontinental title, and a lot of people will be like, "What world does that happen in?" It happened in this world. Apparently, it happened with the dice rolling here. So that's another thing to factor in when you play a dice rolling game, that anything can happen. As much as the charts and the percentages and all that, try and favor the winner. I mean, Greg Valentine had an 890-point difference to JYD, and still, it was short on rolling for the percentage he needed on the dice. So anything can happen with dice rolling games. It happens in the other wrestling games I play, whether it's Phil Singer wrestling or the squared circle. When you're rolling dice, that is just part of the game. I'm sure if you played a match again, it might probably favor Valentine a little more, right? So that's always something to keep in mind when you play these games. But overall, it's a great game. Again, you have to download everything. Nothing is shipped to you anymore. I guess they're trying to save costs that way and just trying to just get the game out to you. So you do have to print out the game. And again, the game is a storytelling game. I compare it more to like the face to the mat type game, because you're rolling on charts. You're kind of seeing, what the results are. I've never played face to the mat. It's always a game I was kind of curious about, but because there's no real wrestlers. I know there's fan made wrestlers, so you could use the fan made wrestlers that they've made, like based on the real guys for the game. But when you initially purchase the game, it's going to be made up wrestlers. So it's hard for me to kind of like make stories for made up wrestlers, as opposed to I know the stories that were happening for WWF in 1985, and like who would match up and tell a story better that way. So for that was more of my reason for getting this game, the Downey games, Ultra Quick Wrestling. But again, there's the different sets. They have the AWA set. There's the World Class. There's if you want to get more closer to the Monday Night Wars, they have that. They have hardcore one. They have the 70s with Bruno in his prime. So whatever you're looking for, they have ebooks, seasons, whatever you want to call them. They have the seasons that you can play out. I mean, there's like a good 114 wrestlers in here. Like, this is a lot of cards, a lot of guys to be going through. With the different ratings. And again, they have someone, I forget his name. I don't know if it was Mr. Downey, but I think he had another person who does the ratings and takes their time to do the ratings for the books, the seasons. So so this is very well thought out. So I do like that. It's not just I don't think randomly put together. Someone actually is watching to give these guys these ratings. Some things like Jimmy Hart not having a cheat on his keyword to get into the match, but it is what it is. I mean, he has 3 different ones that he could use to get in, and so it is what it is. You could agree or disagree with some of the things they rate or what they do, but for the most part, it is what it is, and it still is a fun game in that way. It still is fun to find out the results. And again, you just have to be mindful again when using these managers. They can end the match. So here you have Jimmy distracts ref while Ali comes to the ring and pummels opponent, pin, boom, match ends. No other charts to look at, no other things. Jimmy Hart's card ended the match. So I kind of, hopefully I showed you the flow of when a manager could interfere, and that's during the middle of the match portion when you roll those charts. You could have Jimmy Hart interfere or whatever manager interfere. And they have rules. If you have 2 managers, the heel manager will go first before the face manager. That's kind of just like how it would be anyways. So I think other than that, I think it's a great game. It's a good little game to get going. They have the different, if you want to have cage matches, and there's different charts and stuff like that in the different ebooks depending on which one you buy. I think the AWA has some charts or whatever in there too. So it just depends whichever ebook you buy, and the different charts you want to use. And again, it is your league, your game, your rules. You know, you change whatever results or whatever you feel is not going with what the flavor or feel of your match is, right? So it is totally up to you, promoter, as they usually say in these games. Anyways, guys, I hope you got the gist of it. I'm sorry to make a long video on this here, but I thought I'd just make just a nice, good video. Thanks for checking me out. Thanks for please check out a lot of the other YouTube content creators and the community. I don't do any live videos, I guess, so it's hard for me to really give thanks to the guys. You know, as you guys would watch me or something like that. But I do want to say thanks to the guys out there like Al Red Sox fan, who puts out lots of content on wrestling and sports games, and the solo promoter for his content on wrestling games and that. You got Mr. Dave Little with his Heartland Championship Wrestling stuff. Check out his wonderful stuff. If you wanted more stuff on this particular game for Ultra Quick Wrestling, there's Dave Gardner. He does a lot of other sports simulation games, so check out his channel. There's Steve Tower, After Further Review, and he does a lot of these types of games. Please check out his wonderful channel. And, you know, there's lots of other guys out there. Rod Basketball, for his basketball input into the basketball games out there. Check out his channel. Just so, yeah, I'm sorry if I'm missing guys out there. I just want to give some shout outs to wonderful YouTube content creators out there. Check out their channels, see what they're doing. You know, and if that helps you with purchasing a game, checking out their content as well as my content, that's just great. That's just awesome. So thanks again, guys. I hope I make another video real soon. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you got the gist of Downey Games Ultra Quick Wrestling. I will try and remember, if I can, to put any links in my video description. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free, and I will try to answer them. And again, I will try and make some videos soon. Again, life has just been crazy and has lasted a while for me. And yeah, I've been trying to do content to get content ready, but again, life is crazy, guys. And please forgive me for not making videos, but please know that I do have you guys in mind when the time comes to put out content. Okay, guys, thanks again for watching. Take care. See you soon. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.